Thank you for joining us today. Hi, my name is Britt Tompkins, and I am a Sage Intacct expert here at Micro Accounting. Today we're going to dive into an often overlooked feature inside of Sage Intacct called custom fields. So what are custom fields? Custom fields are going to allow us to customize the Sage Intacct data that we'd like to see over almost any object inside of the system. Why would we use custom fields? Well, they're very helpful. So think about tracking useful business information inside of your Sage ERP system instead of having to look for that paper copy or file, pull an insurance policy or a vendor contract, or maybe look at an Excel spreadsheet that you're tracking on the side. So you can use custom fields in a variety of ways. Let's think about some examples. That could be the expiration date of a contract with a vendor or a customer. It could be the parcel number of any of the properties that you own. It could be a tenant's rent amount and payment schedule based off of their lease. It could also be a CDL driver's license for somebody like a truck driver. So the possibilities here are endless, and I'm really looking forward to showing you today how to create this inside of Sage Intacct. There are different types of objects available, and so think about how you want to track and pull some of this data. Maybe you simply want it to be a checkbox. Maybe you want it to be a date. It could be an email. It could be a pick list. You could have the option to be able to choose multiple fields from that pick list, so it doesn't just have to be one. And then it could also just be text, right? So sometimes that's kind of the most useful, maybe policy number 1, 2, 3, 4 in a text. So I will show you how to access the custom object that we create today and show you how to use it for future use. And now, in 5 easy steps, I'm going to show you how to add a custom field inside of a Sage Intacct environment. In a matter of minutes, we're going to have a custom field that you can begin to use across your entire organization. So let's get started. I'm moving into my Sage Intacct environment. And you will notice I want to go to this applications menu. You normally go here to make transactions within the system and run your reports, but there's also a lesser used application, and depending on your setup, it's either the customization services tab or the platform services tab. Either one is going to get us to where we need to be to create custom fields. So once you're here, I want you to scroll down to the Object Customizations and the Custom Fields selection. I'm going to click on Custom Fields instead of hitting that handy dandy plus button, just to show you that this is going to show and be our repository of where our custom fields are going to be. So I know right now inside this system there's one custom field, and it's on the vendor record, and it's called expiration date. After we add ours will show up here today as well. Great. So there's a couple different ways that we can add this custom field. You'll notice in the right-hand side there's this Add button. I'm highlighting it in green with my cursor. You could click Add here and it will bring you to the wizard. You can also press this green plus button in the menu that we were just in, Customization Services or Platform Services. Underneath Object Customizations for custom fields, you could hit the plus button. Either way is going to get us right into the wizard, which is where we want to be. So here we go. Step 1. We are going to determine the object that we want to create this custom field on. Now there's a ton of different options inside the system. I'm going to say at least 100. And just to give you an example of a few of them, you could create a custom object on an AP bill if you're looking to track specific information on bills. Another one that's greatly used is you can add custom fields to dimensions. So let's say you want to add or track more information than simply the department name. You could do that. For today's purposes, I'm going to do a vendor record. That seems to be pretty popular, and so I'm going to I'm going to select vendor. Step 2. we are going to choose what type of data field or data type do we want to be displayed on that vendor record. So is it a checkbox and we want it to have a sentence that says vendor is A or B, So step 2 is where you're going to choose your field data type. Now we have different options. So when you're on that vendor record, and let's say you need it to be a checkbox, is it a yes or no? We absolutely can add a tiny checkbox on the vendor record that we can check. Let's say we want to maybe select the date because it's the expiration date of a contract and we want to keep that inside the system. There are others here. I'm going to select text because it makes the most sense and it is the most popular, but you're welcome to select any of these inside of the system. Step 3, this is where we're going to label our new custom field that we've created. Since it is text, we're going to say how many characters are we allowed to enter in. And then we have a field ID as well. So first let's put a label in and let's say we want this to be contract expiration date. It's going to automatically fill in that field ID for us. And the field ID comes in handy because now when I'm importing information into Sage Intacct, guess what? I can import custom fields that fill in that field for me. So sometimes during implementation, we'll do this along with the dimension load so that when we're loading data, all that custom data comes in too. So think about that if you're implementing Sage Intacct. Make sure that you're getting custom fields in addition to dimensions. You can always put an internal description here too in case you need to have others understand kind of what this field is for. Now, step 4, we're going to choose our deployment options. So is this field required? If it is required, there'll be an error screen if you go to save it without having it filled in. Is this something that's hidden so you don't want everybody to see it? Do we want to inactivate it versus delete it? I do recommend inactivating it so you don't lose your data. Now, the important part, and we're almost done, so thanks for sticking in there. So the important part here is we're going to tell Intacct the section where this field appears. So to do that, I am going to go to my vendor record. Now, section where the field appears and tab where the field appears. So tabs are these up top: additional information, contact list, payment information, and so forth. So I want my data to show right on this vendor tab. It's the first tab. It's the most visible tab on a vendor record. So I'm going to hit the drop down and say I want it on the vendor tab. But maybe I want it to show up down in this primary contact field. That's where I'm going to type in here, primary contact. You'll notice there are no more steps. We're going to hit done. Woohoo! We just did it. We did it together. We created a custom field inside of Sage Intacct. You'll notice it's taken us out to our listings of our custom fields, and we have our contract expiration date as a text field on the vendor record. That's awesome. Let's go ahead and take a look at this in our vendor record. So I'm going to go accounts payable vendors. I'm going to view any vendor record because it's applicable for all. You'll notice I'm on the vendor tab in the primary contact information, and here's my contract expiration date. If I were to edit this vendor record, you can now see I can enter text information inside of that field. And we can also report on it. So today we focused on setting up a custom field inside of Sage Intacct, better understanding the best sort of use cases and examples where we can really make this functionality shine. And some of the examples we talked about were parcel numbers for properties, license numbers for drivers, policy numbers and expiration dates for contracts and insurance. You could even do things like rent amounts and rent dues if you have properties. The possibilities here are endless. I hope you enjoyed today's session. I'm Britt Tompkins for Micro Accounting, and I'll hope to see you next time. By the way, don't forget to click and like and subscribe for more helpful videos, tips, and tricks. See you soon.